He said, "You're no longer useful to me," then kicked me out of the apartment I helped pay for. Life by habit. My name is Martha. I'm 68 years old. I never thought I'd be telling my story online, but maybe it'll help someone avoid ending up in my shoes. I lived with a man for 14 years. We rented an apartment together. I paid half, sometimes more. His name was Charles. He was a few years younger than me, retired later. I worked as a cashier in a supermarket, evenings, weekends. To be honest, I carried the load. Charles was one of those men who believed women shouldn't work, unless it was convenient for him. But I didn't need a man. I just wanted someone next to me. Someone to have tea with in the evening, watch old movies. I thought that's what love after 60 looked like. Charles hadn't worked in years. He said his back hurt. I believed him, bought him ointments, made doctor appointments, but he never went. The fall. Everything was okay, until one day I slipped on the stairs near the store carrying heavy bags. I fell badly on my way home with groceries. I lost consciousness, and with it, my ability to move properly. It was a spinal contusion. When I applied for compensation, they said, "You didn't use the railings, violated safety procedures. You're not eligible." I came home, and Charles said, "You don't bring in money anymore. We need to think about how to move forward." I didn't understand what he meant at first. A week later, he said, "There's going to be another roommate, an old friend of mine. She'll stay with us temporarily." 3 weeks later, I was out of that apartment. He explained it simply. "You're not on the lease. I paid the agent, not you. On paper, you're nobody here." I left with 2 bags and a broken heart. Starting from scratch. I slept at the train station for a week. Then I picked up a shift at the supermarket where I used to work. A young cashier said, "I remember you. You taught me how to open the register." She gave me her old mattress and told me where to find a cheap room. That simple act of kindness changed my day. I still don't know her name, but I remember her eyes. That's how I ended up in a tiny room on the outskirts. Shared bathroom, noisy neighbors, but inside, peace. I bought myself a mug, my own, just mine. Made tea, and for the first time in months, drank it slowly. I realized I could wake up in the morning and not explain myself to anyone. I started a notebook for budgeting, looked up cheap recipes, and for the first time, felt in control of something. Every morning, I walked to work. Not many people recognized me at the store, but sometimes someone smiled, and I didn't feel so invisible. In the evenings, I'd write a little. I started journaling my days, recording how many steps I walked, what meals I cooked, what I saved. I even printed a photo of a small seaside town and pinned it to the wall, a place I hoped to visit someday. These little rituals grounded me. The quiet became something sacred. The solitude was no longer emptiness, it became space. Charles returns. I didn't cry for a long time, not until I got a letter from Charles, and he wrote, "I miss you." She moved out. "Maybe you'll come back?" I looked at the words and felt disgusted. He didn't even really apologize. He was just alone. It wasn't love calling. It was convenience. I wanted to scream into the void. I supported this man for 14 years, and he tossed me like trash. And now he wanted me back because he was lonely? I didn't answer. A month later, he wrote again, "My back hurts. I'm alone. I'm sorry." I answered with one sentence, "Thank you for setting me free." After that, I allowed myself to cry. Not out of pain, but relief. I felt no one was holding me in the past anymore. I tore up the photo of us together and threw it away. Not out of spite, but for closure. I signed up for a free course at the local library, Basic Computer Skills. I'd never used the internet before. Now I can read news, search recipes, and most importantly, feel like I live in this world again, not just watch it from the sidelines. The class had others like me, seniors starting over, timid and curious. One woman, Anita, taught me how to send an email. I sent my first one to myself. "You're doing okay? Keep going." And that's when I realized Charles had left a hole, yes, but I'd filled it with something better, with self-respect, with hope. A life for myself. I still live in that same room, still work at the same store. Sometimes I get tired, but I have a neighbor on my floor, Mary. We go grocery shopping together, watch TV shows. She's alone too, and we don't pretend for each other. On weekends, we bake muffins. She taught me to knit. I showed her how to make soup from leftovers. We laugh when things go wrong. It's not some fairy tale friendship. It's real, adult solidarity. Sometimes, when the weather is nice, we sit outside on the stoop with tea. We watch people come and go, couples, families, teens with headphones. And in those quiet moments, I don't feel old. I feel present. Recently, I made a list of goals, small ones. Buy a chair with wheels, take a bus trip to the coast, finish a free nutrition course. Small steps, but they're mine. I've also started volunteering twice a month at the food bank. I sort cans and chat with others, and it gives me purpose. Not out of duty, but because I want to give back some of the kindness I once received. I've learned not to live for two, but for myself. And if you ever think that you can't survive without a man, you can. As long as that man isn't the one dragging you down. Martha, 68th cashier, strong woman.